It is fascinating, but there's also, we talked about AI, and there's something else that DARPA's been doing, because this is a DARPA-related project as well, is something called ACE. And they've just finished an AI and machine learning dogfight. They've created it's like X62, which is so autonomous. Now, you put two guys in there. There's still pilots in this thing. It's a modified F-16, essentially, that you've got two guys in there, but they're not flying it. So they've conducted actual dogfight scenarios against a human crew, F-16, right? And it's remarkable. This plane is using AI and machine learning to dogfight, basically.
And is it winning against people?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, and so you still have a couple of guys in there, but they're just there like an autonomous truck, right? They're just there in case things go wrong, right? They can take control.
God.
But it's unbelielievable. And in the sensor tests,
insane. What is the range?
Well, in the virtual tests, it would be the range of an F-16, right? I mean, it's you've got.
So everything that's computing, that's all happening in the computer,
and it's learning
on the plane,
and it's making decisions faster than the human pilot can do it.
It's not connected to the internet at all with Skynet or whatever the fuck that
Skynet.
What is the shit called?
Starlink.
Skynet, bro.
Starlink. Yeah. No, I wanted to bring that up because that is to me, that's remarkable. And
it's insane.
Yeah.
That's insane that it's doing it in real time.
Yeah.
With a jet.
It's crazy.
But it makes sense. There's no margin for error. It would get it perfect.
And in the virtual tests that they did, the virtual tests, they were undefeated against humans, right?
Fuck.
So, yeah, you think about what that means down the road.
Okay, so what do you think these drones are that people keep seeing, or these UAPs, I should say. I shouldn't say drones.
Yeah,
Some of them they think are drones. They're like hovering over ships.
Right.
What do you think these are foreign government? If China can make electric cars that advanced,
right.
and we can make drones that are pretty fucking advanced, what kind of shit do they have?
Well, I think I think you're right. I think most of that UAP sightings, and I think it's important for them. I'm glad the government and the Defense Department has finally at least come forward to some degree to say, look, we've got an interest in this. We want to investigate. We want to know what these things are, these sightings that we can't readily identify off the bat. Look, we were tricked out in the Korean War. The Russians, designed the MiG, whatever it was, the MiG-15 maybe, and we had no idea, right? So they come out, they roll out the MiG-15 against. We were still using, old rotor aircraft from propeller aircraft from World War II in Korea at the outset, and we didn't know that the Russians had advanced material science to the point that they had, so that they could build something like this. So it would be insane for us to think somehow that the Chinese, who have proven themselves to be brilliant at reverse engineering other people's technology, haven't figured out something else. So there's always this game of trying to understand how advanced they are, and I suspect some of the UAP sightings are definitely probably Chinese. I don't think the Russians necessarily, but not that they wouldn't try or not trying, but I suspect the Chinese are further advanced on this. And they've stolen a lot of technology from us over the years, and we've talked about that. But I think a number of the UAP sightings that get listed are just that. But that's why they do it. That's why they have an office now that they've admitted to that investigates, because it's a national security issue. You've got to know if a hostile state has created something that we are not aware of, right? Propulsion or material science or whatever it may be.
How much of that stuff could be kept secret, and for how long do you think? Like, is it equivalent in terms of like the physicists that are working on this in China versus the ones that are working on it over here? Like, is it possible that somebody made some sort of a propulsion breakthrough?
Well, anti-gravity or something.
Yeah, well, that was the thing. We had this lady that went missing. Do you know that story?
Yeah.
She was working on an anti-gravity device. Yeah. And she went back to China for a little bit, and then came back here.
There's been some talk about, there's various people, Salvatore Pais and some others who have been working on supposedly on things, similar, various propulsion systems, anti-gravity, how do you change the laws of physics, right? And I don't know how long that could be kept secret for. Right, because
could you keep it secret for a little bit though?
Yeah, you could. But at some point, it's going to get rolled out, and someone's going to get wind of something. It's human nature And we're always working just like the Chinese are always working against us. We're always working to understand what they got. And so, I'm not a big believer that, you keep secrets of an immense nature like that for a long period of time.
Well, if they did keep it a secret, if that's what the Tic Tac thing was, that was 2004.
Yeah.
It's hard to imagine them having that complex propulsion system that's so alien from what we currently know.
Yeah.
And have that 20 years ago and no one hears about it?
Yeah, I know. And that's
a long time.
That is I've been in conversations with some folks who want to do a new series on UAPs, right? And, I keep coming back to that incident, right?
Yeah.
And Fravor and the folks that were involved in those sightings as one of those things, right? Like if I had to, because a lot of things can be explained away. That one still is a tough one. Right?
That's a tough one.
Yeah, there were a lot of eyes on target, radars and the wingmen, and there was a lot of things here that just didn't add up.
The physical movement of it. If all the machinery works, if all the sensors work, if all the detection equipment, if all that stuff is accurate, that thing's doing something that no one's ever even seen before.
Oh, no, absolutely. No sign of propulsion system, speed of movement, change of direction. Everything was so bizarre. But that's, again, what we're looking for. And we're moving in. Eventually, we get in that direction, right? Eventually, you have an explainable technology that could create something like that.
Right.
But back then, like you said, maybe.
That's 2004 is so long ago in terms of technology.
Yeah. No, I know, right?
It sounds crazy, but 20 years ago is a fucking totally different world.
Well, there's that exponential advancement of technology as you go along and as you create things.
Which is really crazy if that was ours. So if we had something like that in 2004, who, where, what,
right.
how much money? Where'd you get the smart guys?
I don't think that would have been the case because I think that we wouldn't have heard about it because I think they would have had a classified briefing with Fravor and say, you saw nothing, don't worry about it. It's all done.
Do you think that's the case, or do you think they allow some talk about it because a lot of the talk is nutty anyway? A lot of these people that believe in UFOs.
No, you're right. Yeah.
Like, I am open-minded about the idea to a certain extent, but a lot of these people that they could be telling you Bigfoot stories. It's like the same kind of folks. There's people that just see shit, and it makes their life way more interesting. And then there's people that have really seen those things. I have good friends that have seen things, so it's like bizarre things.
Yeah, you've talked.
How did that move?
We've talked about that. Yeah, and I agree. I've talked to a couple of pilots that were out in Iraq, and they said we were flying nighttime, saw shit that we couldn't explain. We had no idea what the fuck it was over the skies of Iraq while we were on a sortie. And so, I'm.
Well, then it gets to like Tucker Carlson territory. He believes they're like spiritual beings.